Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. So Festival has arrived and is taking place in March for the first time since New Horizons launched 5 years ago. This also means the event takes place during the spring season without any snow, offering an entirely new aesthetic for the celebration, which is super exciting. Even Nintendo posted a different screenshot this year showcasing the new spring vibes. Anyway, in honor of this huge change, I thought it'd be fun to highlight all of the must-know tips and tricks, as well as the mistakes you should be avoiding during the event to make the most of Festival in 2025. So if you're a fan of Animal Crossing and enjoying these videos, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a bunch, and let's jump straight in. Now, for the first time since New Horizons launched back in 2020, half a decade ago now, Pavé has stopped by the plaza in March for the first time today, March 3rd. And interestingly, this event won't take place again in March until 2030. So this year is a pretty unique year for Festival. What's more is Festival being March 3rd this year actually falls on Pavé's birthday, which only happens about once every 10 to 12 years. Cool, huh? Now, as I'm sure you know, the general idea of the event is to catch feathers among the confetti floating around the New Horizons island and exchange them with Pavé at the plaza in return for limited time festival themed items and a dance or two. There's even some exclusive items you can only get today, but more on that later. Anyway, fortunately there are a few tricks that make this event easier and even some things you should avoid, so not to waste your time and honestly just make the event that much more fun and immersive. So let's take a look. Number 1. Feathers trick. Now, the feathers, including blue, green, purple, red and rainbow feathers, are the key items during Festival, and most of them are fairly easy to catch simply by running around and catching them with your net. However, just like anything that spawns randomly around the New Horizons island, you may feel like you constantly encounter a specific colour, such as green feathers for example, more often than not. Fortunately, there's a neat trick that allows you to swap out feathers with your villagers, and what's more is, it's super easy to know which villagers want specific feathers without even talking to them. So should you find yourself with a bunch of green feathers and you're looking to trade them with your villagers for different colours to balance out the numbers, simply speak to villagers who are wearing green festival outfits, as these villagers are looking for green feathers and will be happy to trade you different colour feathers they've caught to get their hands on more green feathers. This simple trick allows you to see at a glance which villagers are looking for specific colours, not only saving you time, but allowing you to trade whatever feathers you have an abundance of. Now, trading with villagers during Festival is pretty common knowledge, but I think that the feathers villagers are looking for being linked to their outfit choice is often an overlooked detail. But did you already know this? Let us know in the comments. Number 2. Don't craft feathers. Specifically, don't waste your time crafting rainbow feathers unless you really have to or want to. Festival is a one-day event, and during the event, Pavé will give you the rainbow feather DIY recipe, which allows you to use the more common feathers found around the New Horizons island to craft the much rarer and more desirable rainbow feathers. However, this is a complete waste of time for a couple of reasons which we'll cover more later in the video. Just know rainbow feathers aren't actually as desirable as you may think. In fact, to complete the Festival event, you only need 3 rainbow feathers and no more. And whilst it's super easy to catch common feathers and use them to craft rainbow feathers to get your hands on them quickly, you can find them in the wild, and actually by the time you've played through the event itself and traded with Pavé a bunch of times to unlock new items to the point you need rainbow feathers, it's highly likely that you would have already encountered a bunch of wild rainbow feathers anyway. Now, towards the end of Festival, Pavé requests a total of 3 rainbow feathers in exchange for an exclusive Pavé float. This item is exclusive to the festival event, unlike most of the other festival items that can be purchased from Nooks in the lead up to festival. But this interaction doesn't take place until you've exchanged feathers with Pavé 9 times, which is a lot of feathers, so there's a good chance that by the time you've caught all the feathers you need for Pavé and run around the New Horizons island to trade with your villagers a bunch, you would have seen 3 rainbow feathers floating around in the wild. So crafting them is essentially pointless and just a waste of common feathers, if that makes sense. That said, I totally wouldn't blame you for crafting an extra one if you wanted to rock a rainbow feather as part of your festival outfit or keep them for gifts, because they are pretty awesome. Number 3. Avoid hoarding. Now, Festival has changed a few times since it launched in version 1.7 a few years ago, and this has led to the mechanics changing slightly, or at least how players approach the mechanics of this event, more specifically needing to catch extra feathers or hoarding feathers during Festival and saving them in storage for future use. To craft a single rainbow feather, it requires 1 of each common feather, which soon adds up if you're looking to store feathers in case you need them in the future. However, for reasons we'll cover in the next trick, rainbow feathers are no longer useful outside of the festival event, and the common feathers don't serve a purpose other than crafting rainbow feathers outside of the festival event. So unless you wanted to keep a few for gifts or decoration, catching extra feathers or hoarding feathers in case you need them later is unnecessary. Knowing this in advance can save you a bunch of time and allow you to focus on enjoying Festival for what it is and immerse yourself in the event without the grind, and also save you some precious storage space. Do you know any other tips or tricks for events like this in Animal Crossing New Horizons? Let us know in the comments. Number 4. Use Cyrus instead. Now, as we briefly touched on earlier, Festival has changed over the years as Animal Crossing New Horizons has been updated. More specifically, when Cyrus was added in an update, he single-handedly broke the Festival feather economy. Yep, I guess that's a thing, and is the main reason it's now pointless to craft rainbow feathers or hoard common feathers. Prior to version 2.0, players would need to craft rainbow feathers at the cost of 4 common feathers each if they wanted to customize festival items, and you'd need a lot of feathers too, as most items require 2 rainbow feathers to customize. Anyway, this led many players to hoard hundreds of feathers in case they ever wanted to customize festival items later in the year. Just imagine if you wanted to customize an entire festival furniture set in October, for example. That's a lot of rainbow feathers. Thankfully, now Cyrus has arrived on Half's archipelago at the open air market. He will customize items for bells rather than materials and customization kits, and this includes the entire festival furniture series. No longer does it take hundreds of common feathers to craft 20 odd rainbow feathers to customize festival furniture items. It just costs a few thousand bells, which you can easily find in a money rock. So the biggest mistake people make during festival or even outside of the event, and something you should definitely be avoiding, is not wasting your rainbow feathers on customizing festival furniture. Just get Cyrus to do it for you for 1,000 bells and save your materials. Number 5. Festival accessories. Now, I feel like this video is a little more serious than usual, so let's take a look at a tip that will make Festival even more fun and immersive. As you may know, several Festival outfits are available at the Able Sisters in the lead up to Festival as well as during the event. These are perfect for celebrating Festival or wearing in honor of the event as you spend time catching feathers. However, there are a few bonus items that you can use during Festival to make your Festival outfits even more fun and unique. If you find yourself at the open air market on Half's Island whilst customizing some Festival items, check out Red's raffle, as several of the prizes complement the festival outfits perfectly, including the peachy pink, the sky blue, the green grass, and the bitter orange folding fans. There's even a colourful light stick too, if you wanted to throw some neon in there. However, if you haven't unlocked Red, Nooks Cranny also has a bunch of useful accessories that are perfect alongside festival outfits, including the Uchiwa fans, party poppers, and the maracas, all of which complement festival outfits well and would make for some great event screenshots. Number 6. Nooks exclusive. Now the festival event is a fun one, and despite Nooks offering most of the festival event items in advance in the lead up to the event, it's still totally worth taking part simply to unlock the Rainbow Feather DIY recipe and the Pavé float item, which are exclusive to Pavé's visit. However, something you may have overlooked is a festival exclusive that's only available in Nooks Cranny in the lead up to the event, and festival is of course the last day you can obtain it. If you head to the cabinet inside Nooks Cranny, you can purchase the Viva Festival Reaction Set, which includes the Confetti, Viva, Let's Go, and Feeling It reactions for only 23,000 bells. I'm including this more for the sake of completeness than anything else, but it is easily overlooked if you don't regularly shop in Nooks or check the cabinet. So if you find yourself buying some party poppers to enjoy during the festivities, be sure to pick up the reaction pack too. So there we have it. If you take anything away from this video, it's don't waste your time crafting unnecessary rainbow feathers, use Cyrus to customize festival items if you're looking for a specific theme, and make the most of the event any way you can and have fun. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to post Viva in the comments just to let me know you did, and be sure to include what items make up your festival outfit. I'd love to know. Thank you so much to the Patreon and channel members for supporting this content. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.